day the world shines just for you. Sunlight warm and sky so blue. Every laugh and every smile made my whole life worthwhile. Make a wish and hold it tight. We're gonna celebrate tonight. Happy Mother's Day, Mama. You're the light I'm made of. Every year you glow more than the year before. Happy Mother's Day, Mama. Like a gift from.
So good morning. My name is Diana Jameson. Today, Marley Avant, our minister, and I will be your service leaders. I would like to open our service by reading our covenant. As members of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Rappahannock, we come together to create a welcoming community of diverse people who search for spiritual meaning in our lives. We listen to each other, speak our truths, and respect ideas and beliefs that are different from our own. We take responsibility for our words and our actions. We strive to be compassionate and loving with each other and ourselves. We promote social justice and serve all in our community. However, you arrive today with gladness, with an ache, with complicated feelings you don't quite have words for yet. You are welcome here, exactly as you are. You do not have to prove your worth here. You already have it. You are seen here, you are welcome here, and we are grateful that you have come. As we light this chalice, as we light this chalice, may we remember we are the light keepers. May we always tend the inner flame. The world needs it now more than ever.
Today is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. And we're going to hold it lightly, the way you would hold a flower, tenderly, knowing that beauty and grief can be held simultaneously. Some of you love this day. Some of you are loved into this day. Some of you are navigating around an absence. A mother lost, a child not here, a relationship that never became what you hoped, a longing that cannot be articulated. All this is real. And all of this belongs right here in this room. Before us on the altar are flowers waiting, in front of them faces. The faces of those who have mothered, who have been mothered, who have shaped us and marked us and made us possible. 43 candles stand ready, one for every story that we cannot tell, for there are so many stories. So those candles can be there for just a silent honoring.
This morning, we will not rush. We will receive what the flowers carry. We will let stories rise if they need to. We will sit with what is complicated and call it holy. Every bloom tells a story. So do you. May this hour unfold like a tender, beautiful flower. Marley, would you like to do the reading?
Well, I'll introduce the reading. There's a kind of prayer that works not by asking, but by naming. By saying, I see you, you are not invisible here. In a moment, Diana will read a poem by Linda Susan Ulrich that does exactly that. It moves through all the forms that mothering takes, all the ways it breaks and it holds, all the shapes that love can make of itself across one's lifetime. It asks nothing of you. Let it find you where you are.
For all the mothers. For all the mothers and mother figures, the grandmothers, aunts, extended family, members who mother, the soon-to-be mothers, the wish they were mothers, the never wanted to be mothers, and its complicated mothers, the birth mothers, foster mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, the used-to-be dad mothers, and more than one mom mother, the single mothers, separated mothers, stay-at-home mothers, unhoused mothers, the grieving mothers, those who grieve their mothers, and those whose grief is complex. For all the communities that mother, and for all who depend on the Great Mother, you are held and beloved.
Earlier this morning, many of you brought and placed flowers and photos on the altar here. And now we'll enter the heart of this ritual. In a few moments, we'll open the space for you to come forward whenever you feel ready, in whatever order calls you.
Your flowers grace this altar. Let a flower choose you. There are candles to light for someone you love, for someone you've lost, for yourself.
And when you come up, excuse me, if a word or a memory wants to be spoken aloud, we will receive it. And if only silence, if you only want to light a candle, that is just as whole, just as witnessed. Some of you have placed photos of your mother that you may want to hold as you share. Or quietly, as I said, light a candle.
All of you are invited to take one of the small colored hearts that's on the table, in the bowl on the table. Put it in your pocket. Let it be a gentle reminder to carry the rest of the day.
So as you feel ready or moved, come up. You can take a flower that is calling you, light a candle, say something or not. Yeah, let's do this. Let's light it from the chalice.
My mother wasn't well schooled, but she was very wise. She had the wisdom of her ancestors from the mountains, Appalachia. And she did say a lot of things that stay with me. One almost, well, it's kind of crude, but she used to say, if I said I wished I had something, wish in one hand and in the other, see which one fills up first. But, and doesn't even, to this day, when something happens that I think about, I think, I want to call my mother, and I realize I can't. But, that's what I do in life.
Going through this journey with my baby having a baby, it gets you thinking about a lot of things. And the idea that my DNA is in my grandson. My mom's DNA is the grandson. I'm getting tingles just thinking about it. It's being a mom is just such a wonderful, wonderful thing.
My mom was my mom, and she's still my mom. I am what I am because of her. She always gave me that self-confidence that I could make it. All I needed was my brains. I didn't need the money. I didn't need anything. Thank you, Mom. I thank her every day. And besides, I had her for 102 years.
Oh
my gosh. Are you 102? Sorry? Are you 102? No, my mother was. I don't want to get done there. Not on this side of her mind. Oh, come on. Come on, Mom. There you go.
I want to light a candle for my grandmother who loved me with her whole heart, and my mom who loved me kind of sideways. And I was walking up the path today, and I remembered how difficult it was for me to buy my mother a Mother's Day card. And I would always look for the one that said something that we could relate to, but was humorous, not gushy, I love you, I couldn't do that. And so I realized that I guess I kind of loved my mother sideways too, because I did love her in a way, but not in the same way that I loved my grandmother. And then my Aunt Leslie, who kind of rescued me when I was 16. I went to Easily, South Carolina to live with her my junior year in high school. And she kind of taught me how to survive in the South.
Okay. Rose wants to say something, but in the context of remembering mother and then remembering father, I will take care of them both. My parents both went to Cornell University and met and married. And a couple of years later, I came along, and a couple of years later, my brother came along. About 12 years later, my father died. My mother ran the farm.
They had bought a 200-acre farm in northern New Jersey, and had me and then my brother. She ran the farm. She was active in community affairs and particularly Farm Bureau Women, and became the national president of the organization for 2 or 3 years at some point. The farm did as most farms did, which is not make much money, but she sent both my brother and I to college. And was kind of a superwoman.
So you come right naturally to those.
Genes, huh? Truly mother, a superwoman.
My mother's name is Sandra. Sandra means helper of mankind. And she has always been a helper of mankind. She's always helped people. She's always loved people, regardless of who they were, what their situation was. She taught me how to do the same thing. And today at 79, she makes 12 quilts a year and donates them to Ladies Club to be auctioned off for their scholarships. And I am so eternally grateful that she is in my soul family and that I can
My mother could not have children. My parents were married for 10 years before I came along. And that's through the efforts of the doctors, University of Pennsylvania, Jefferson Hospital. And my sister followed 2 years later. Got a picture of my mom here in her wedding gown. My mom grew up in New Jersey. She was a farm girl. Went to Memorial Hospital, got her nursing degree, and went in the Army in 1943. She went to Europe. I was in London, met my dad, and got married. The dress she's got on is a Hershey. It was made for her for the wedding. She was an Army nurse, and a farm girl to the core. She was a great, great lady. Up as nails. Her favorite saying was, "Get with it." Get with it. But the one story I like to tell everybody, most of you know, I'm a retired Marine, and I often credit my mother with me making it through basic training when I got to go off my second summer to Officer Candidate School. She said, "Just remember the little train that could." And I'll tell you, on the Silk Trail to Quantico, 7 trail at 95 degrees, yeah, I saw it.
My mother, Loretta, was a true caregiver. My brother was born with cranial stenosis, and it's a skull vein growth. He had autism and other problems. This was back in the late 60s, early 70s. She couldn't, she had 4 kids, She had him at home, but was looking for him to be educated properly. Back then, if you had this situation, you got put into an institute with 1,000 other kids. So she fought the state for schooling and housing. And she fought, and she fought, and she fought. And she got it. She became director of the Association for Retarded Citizens, that was called at the time. It's just called New York. We don't use those words. And she took care of all of us, and she lost my brother in 2014, her mother in 1998, her father, and everybody. She passed in 2018. So here's to Loretta.
And my mother was also a farm girl, raised on the farm, went to a one-room school, graduated from high school. After she got married and put all of us through school and into college, she went back to college, got an associate's degree in library science, and spent her retirement years doing library work in all of the community colleges around Dallas. She was a mother to many, many people. When anyone in our small town ran away from home, they ran to our house. And the rules were, first you call your parents and let them know where you are. And second, you abide by our rules when you're here. Most of them didn't stay real long because my mother had lots of rules.
You've met her before when she was at my beach sale as Ranger Janet. This is high college, and my mother was a bit of a flirt. You maybe can. I'm not sure we always saw eye to eye. Really wasn't much of a problem. She was too busy fighting with my sister and adoring my brother. I was just the middle kid. But I thank her for all she gave us. We visited so many places when we were young. We had so many great experiences. Thanks, Mom.
This is the last thing I thought I'd be doing today is celebrating my mother, but I am. She was a sideways mother. But without her, I wouldn't be here and have all the blessings I've had for 80 years. And I wouldn't have my daughter, who called me this morning to wish me a happy Mother's Day. So she's at her 50th high school reunion.
This is my mom when she was 16 and she graduated from high school. She never really had her full potential, I don't think, because Dad made her stay home and iron his underwear. So she was a bright lady, and she lived with us for 15 years after my dad died came down here. And I can remember her at, Tom, maybe 95, 94, saying to Tom, I think it's time you took over my checkbook, because I don't think I can do this anymore. But she was happy, she was a bright light. her and I, with us being in the Corps, were gone so many, many years, and having those 15 years with her was like such a gift. We took her to casinos. We did everything that you can imagine. So thanks, Mom. You'll always be my best friend.
She was a great lady.
Yeah. We used to call her Dottie.
Have you noticed how pretty our mothers were? What happened to us? I mean, you look at the pictures and they're all gorgeous.
This is my mother. I think, she was still in, maybe this is graduation from high school picture. And her name is Fleda Marley. And Marley, that's how I received my name. My mother was adopted. And two things from that. That was back in the time that there was sort of a stigma on adopted children. So a quality that really drove her was that she had to prove herself of being legitimate. And she sure did. And she didn't have to prove it. She just was a wonderful, wonderful being. And she was a dancer. She danced with Judy Garland, Shirley Temple, all of those. And her mother would make the costuming for all of them. And she knew Judy Garland, and so I grew up with stories, well, Judy Garland's mother was terrible, because they used to be the Gum Sisters. I probably talked to who's Judy Garland. But anyway, they used to be the Gum Sisters, and apparently Judy Garland's mother was an awful stage mother. And we actually were watching TV one night when Judy collapsed on the stage. And I found I felt like Mom was talking to me, because yesterday I kept thinking about this autograph book of hers that I had kept for so long. And this was from the group, Flynn O'Malley back in those days had a big dance group. And I'm going to need my glasses. Anyway, the first one that I turned to, that I won't probably turn to right now, but it was basically from Flynn O'Malley, and it said, yeah, here it is. To Fleda Marley Walker, to a little sap from a big sap. A sincere salutation to one of the most beautiful dispositions God ever made. I love you, Fleda Marley, and await patiently for that bud of promise to blossom forth in a beautiful flower of success. And I thought this, when I opened, I thought this is so perfect for, we're all the buds that have blossomed forward now because of our mothers. And so I was fortunate. Mom and Dad came to live with us the last 14 years of their life. And the night she passed, a huge white owl went around our circular drive, just swooped. And she passed. And then it was very interesting when they finally came to take her away. She was tiny, and they said, "Can we just wrap her?" And they put a sheet around her, but it had like wings on either side, and they carried her down the stairs. And I just felt that was, the universe saying, this is an angel and we're carrying her home. So I will always be grateful for that. And this is for you, Mom, and for Nana, who adopted you. Nana, who adopted you.
I think most of us grew up in the 40s and 50s during Father No Best and Fuller family and Marcus Welby, post-war, and everything was wonderful. We all had mothers, fathers.
probably we've all had wonderful memories and some not so wonderful memories. And we survived in spite of our parents. Deanna spoke about different types of mothers, all beautiful mothers. But there are other mothers out there. There are mothers who have been abused, mothers who have abused their children, mothers who don't have custody of their children. As you all know, part of my life is out there in the community with CASA. And I come across many mothers and fathers who are abused or the abusers. And what I've learned over the last 6-7 years that I've been a CASA advocate is don't judge them, help them. Reach out to them. Because there's so many mothers out there now that I know that are crying. Their kids have been abused by mom or dad. It's rough out there, and we are so fortunate to have such beautiful stories. Everybody relating how they felt about their mom. But be aware. Keep your eyes open in the community. A lot of mothers and fathers out there, and especially kids who need help.
This is my mother, Eileen, and she was very young when she married my dad. She turned 18 in August, and they were married in that following October. And she had grown up in a home where, from the time she was 7, her father walked out while she and her mother were, my grandmother, were not home. They came home, he was gone. And the day she died, she never knew where he was or what happened to him. She tried to get in touch with him when his father died, but there was no response. So the odd thing of it is I've now found a little bit of information about him on Ancestry.com, and he was living in Florida, and he had remarried. And I saw in his draft papers where he had indicated he had no dependents. So when he signed up, so he really just wanted to get out of that one, I guess, and left them alone. But so my mother married my dad, who was 11 years older than she was. He had been previously married. He had a daughter. So the day she was married, she had a 5.5-year-old daughter to raise. And coming from being an only child in a home with a mother and an aunt, she had a challenge ahead of her, and there was no question. And so, but she rose to the challenge. She raised my half-sister wonderfully. There are 3 of us from she and my father. I being the oldest of the 3 of us, so there were 4 girls. And my mom came from a family of girls, actually, because her mother had 4 sisters, and so it was like my poor dad, and he had 2 sisters, so it was, and no brothers, so it was like, it was a real female affair there in my family. But in any event, she did wonderfully, and when my dad died, it wasn't too terribly long, which distressed all of us, that she found someone there in her neighborhood, and they just hit it off, and before you know it, they were ready to get married, and we're going like, what are you doing? You just for the first time in your whole life have had a chance to be yourself. But they had a wonderful marriage, and when he died, she had become the most independent and she could take care of herself better than I ever thought. So I really respected her a lot. I mean, she took care of everything, her finances, everything, her health issues, right up until the last couple of years when she needed some help with that. But And I swore I'd never fly, but I got on a plane and went to Florida and helped take care of her. So anyway, she went from a somewhat feeling like she was somewhat of a dependent person, with my dad being fairly, he was pretty strong-minded, to being very independent in her later years. So I appreciate her and loved her, and she was my real mom, and then I had others that were like my mom. So I want to just recognize all of those that, including my mother, that led me on my path. And yeah, I guess part of it is that a little bit of the, Lynn, you would say she got a little bit independent as she got older, didn't she? So, yeah, let her do that. Yep.
Thank you all for sharing. You know, there are, Jeff's right, there's so many mothers right now that are going through extremely difficult times, and it may get harder, and we need to pay attention, and they do need help, not pity. So as we celebrate our mothers, may we stand strong in our mothering, in our supporting, in our caring, in our reaching out, in our nurturing, in a world right now that needs a lot of nurturing. So this is the flower ceremony, and now we'll step into that because I don't see flowers in any of your hands as you came up. So
Pretty where they are,
I know they're so pretty where they are, but see if one is calling you and take it, or if you know. And if you didn't get a heart, take a heart too, put it in your pocket. Remember you're loved. So yes, this is a time of sharing. If you want us to bring you a flower, we can do that too. Go get it. And there are ones over here too, so we should have enough.
You know what, one time I had a boyfriend, and when I broke up, my name is Rosa. And when I broke up with me, he told me all I had from Rosa was the soreness. I should never forget that.
I love these so much, I'm going to get one for Susan. Oh, yes, it doesn't.
One thing I forgot to say when I was talking about my mom was that when she was young, she was beautiful. She was like a movie star. And I have a picture of her that I would have wanted to bring in, but I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in the family. And she was sitting at a bar, with a big wide hat on, one hand on a cigarette, the other hand on a glass. That's not at all like her when she became a mother, but she just looked so glamorous. I've got to get that picture.
Iris is calling me because that was my mother's favorite flower.
I forgot to show you my mother, and actually this is my mother and father, and I think she was quite beautiful, and she kind of instilled in me this idea that I've got to look good all the time. And then this is my grandmother, who I wrote the poem about her garden and growing up with her, and she just was so dear to me. So thank you.
I wanted to tell you two quick things about my mom. When she was in high school, she was a candy striper at the hospital. And earlier, she was very, very thin. And one day she was pulling a wagon full of bottles down to take them back for their deposit. And she had these skinny little legs, and this older teenage boy was walking behind her, pestering her and telling her that she was bird legs. And she was scared of him, and she was, just being bullied. And later on, when she became a candy striper, they sent her up to feed a cigarette to someone who had been in an accident and couldn't move, and it was the same guy. And so she was telling me about the look in his eyes and how you have to have forgiveness for people, and they don't know what they're doing in the moment. The other thing I wanted to tell you was that when she got a scholarship for nursing school, which she very quickly figured out she didn't want to be a nurse. She didn't like giving needles to babies, and she wasn't good at chemistry, but they did have a thing where they had to put a frog to sleep with chloroform or something, and then incise and check out, hold its skin open and check out the organs. And then the practice was to throw the frog in the trash. And my mother found out ahead of time that that was going to happen, and she brought her needle and thread from home, and she sewed him back up, and she took him home and took care of him and was able to release him.
I can't follow that. But those mothers, you gotta watch them. My mom was a wonderful person. She was a nurse and caring, what have you. And my mom was a wonderful cook. She really, really was. But I mean, she was a kind of a country-style cook and what have you. I mean, with everything was either fried or broiled or what have you, but it always tasted great. So I brought something that she never ever used, which was fresh herbs. I brought oregano. And I did that simply because Mom was a great cook, and I have some up here, and I have some out front, so take it with you when you go, because the plants are there, all right? And one thing I didn't do, I didn't light her a candle, so I got to do that. But she lived to be 100, so she did something right.
Well, the flowers are sitting here on the altar, and you are welcome to come and pick up one before you head home. And particularly all you mothers out there and you women who I know will appreciate them, please do take them, because they're here for you. That's you. May the love that has mothered and nurtured us through many people in many forms rise up to bless us and to move through us. May this gratitude that we're feeling, may we keep holding that in our hearts. And may the stories, the wonderful stories that shaped us, they're there, and they're there to be told, I believe. And for the mothers that are having trouble mothering, we have wonderful stories to share that can help them. So may these beautiful stories blossom. May the stories held in your hearts blossom and move through you in ways that you may not even understand and may not even know it's touching another person. But that's the spirit here. And may we continue keeping that alive.
And may the mothers and the nurturers we've named and the ones that we quietly hold in our heart, and as Marley said, feel our gratitude across time and distance. The chalice flame has now been extinguished. And as Marley extinguishes the candles, let us know that we carry the light in our hearts. We are the light keepers. May we tend our inner flames, for the world needs them now more than ever.
Look at what we've done here together today.
We have been graced by flowers.
We've spoken words from our hearts. Some of us have held names quietly in the chest where they feel safe.
We have lit candles for the ones who made us, the ones we have lost, the ones who mothered us sideways and imperfectly and with everything they had.
Mm-hmm. We have sat with what is sweet and what is sore, and we have not asked either one of those to leave.
You carry something now that you did not bring with you. It may not have a name yet, and that's all right.
Go gently into this afternoon. Touch the stone in your pocket, for those of you who took it, as a reminder that love is always, always close by.
Remember that tenderness is not weakness. It is how the world keeps moving, making room for more of itself.
You are held, you are beloved. Go and bloom.
And may it be so.
And grab a flower and a stone and join us